Hey guys. Okay, I'm back. Wow. That's all I can say. Click the box down there on the lower right so you get the full screen view. Here we go. Had another high-speed Nemesis solar wind event inside of our magnetosphere, magnetopause last night, as measured by these GOES 13, 14, and 15 satellites. A couple of them are represented here. Are in geosynchronous orbit around the planet at 22,236 miles, 2,164 kilometers per second, guys. Whew. That is a record. Previous record that I've seen was 1907 kilometers per second. Now, if you take and do the conversion, 1 kilometer per second equals 2,236.94 miles per hour. I came up with 4,840,738 miles per hour being measured by these satellites that are only 22,236 miles above the Earth. So, getting pretty hairy. I have them stopped here at different intervals just to show you some of the craziness that's going on. Here you can see a big blast of energy coming from the backside from Nemesis. Here's the 2164 kilometers per second. This event began around, I'd say around 03, just after midnight again, just like clockwork. So I'm going to say that this hypothesis of mine, you got to check underneath the videos. Post these hypothesis number 1 and hypothesis number 2. Just click read more. There's hypothesis number 1. Pretty well explains what's been going on and what's still going on in regards to a big planet or planets that passed ACE on October 16th. And then you have to click view reply and you get hypothesis number 2. And that's the one about the high-speed solar wind. Nemesis high-speed solar wind that we've been recording for quite a while now, and I have it all detailed under here. And last night, if you didn't see the video, I'm going to click full screen. Caught some serious tentacles action out in front of the planet, interplanetary magnetic field lines, which are coming from some of those big planets or planet that passed ACE on October 16th. So you might want to check this video out if you haven't watched it. So getting back to the latest. So here it is at 03. I'll just drag it through. Well, I'll click it. I'll just let it play. You can watch these solar wind speed numbers. We had a 2080 in there, 2093. And we had a little bit of lull in the action. And then picked back up again. Well, I better drag it. So 07 it was 974, 1301 at 03 past midnight UTC, so that's like 703 Eastern Standard Time. Then it went to 974. These are all 4-minute increments. 1761, 1367, 1526, 1751, 2164, 2080, 2093, 1811, this is at 39 minutes past, 1631, 1298, 815, 1624. See all the plasma, the dark blue. 1221, 1177, 1267. I'm reading these numbers up here. Still going in 4-minute intervals here. 1045, 868, 858, 800, 549, 594. So quieted down for a little bit. Then it's going to pick back up again. 833, 712, 1116 at 228. Past midnight, 926, 816. So it lasted till about 2:30 UTC. So it was about a 2.5-hour event. Here's what it looked like on here. I'll just drag it through. I mean, wow. So here's where it started at 03, 07, 11. See all the plasma. We're just not getting rid of it like we used to. Here's the polar cap field lines. They're closing. Looks like they're starting to close. It's turning red, but not. Looks like some of these might be closed too, but they're not pulling a lot of energy from the planet, so they're not even registering being closed. That's how weak our magnetosphere is getting, in my humble opinion. That's when it was the 2164. See what I'm talking about? These should be red. So they're all coming back. They're looping back to the planet. Well, they're trying to anyway. Whoa, boy. Look at that. Okay, they finally closed, but look, they're all broken in here. And I don't know. Let's start this one playing. We'll sync it up with this other one. Yeah, these two are synced. I'm still just going to drag this one. And look at that. Those are all blue, man. IMF field lines from Nemesis. And look how weak our magnetosphere is, our magnetosphere. I have hardly any field lines showing. There's all that plasma, and all the plasma comes back in. We're just not getting rid of it, man. This is definitely getting worse. Well, I mean, all indications are it's getting worse, right? Then you can see the field lines from the planets out in front still stacking up in front. We're getting a lot of waves and fluctuation now because the interplanetary magnetic field, the phi angle, is getting all whacked out of shape. It's not a steady connect anymore. I think what's happening is that, well, the connection's starting to flip again. Even though we still have a strong backside connection shown with Nemesis, you can see what I'm talking about with the fluctuations. So this is about when the solar wind speed event inside the magnetopause happened. You can see down here, here's the solar wind speed numbers being measured up at the ACE and Discover satellites at the L1 Lagrange point. 930,000 miles out in front of the planet. They're out here. All these numbers are coming from these two satellites, which are out here 930,000 miles in front of the planet. We got Nemesis back here somewhere. We have Earth, the big planet or planets that are showing up on the MLSO, in which I detailed in my hypothesis number 1, which passed the ACE satellite on October 16th. And then we have Discover and ACE satellites here, and then there's the sun. We have a connection. It's flowing back and forth between Nemesis, through the Earth, through the big planets, through or around the Earth, through or around the big planets, and then back to the sun. And what's happening is it's fluctuating. So And here you can see it fluctuated and went back down closer to, you can read these numbers here. See these numbers on the blue? Got down below the 180, so it was trying to, the sun was trying to exert more voltage pressure than Nemesis. At least that's what the satellites were picking up on at the L1 Lagrange point. And even though the connection went back up here above 180, which would indicate strong backside connection with a solar body behind the Earth, the wind speed, solar wind speed, still began to come up. So I think what's happening is it's a voltage deal. Voltage is the electric potential. It's like the pressure between 2 points. So if you envision the Nemesis back here, Earth, planets, and the sun all being connected, loosely connected anyway, and there's voltage flowing in between all these objects. And sometimes the voltage is stronger coming from Nemesis, which pushes the solar wind back, causes the solar wind speed to slow down coming from the sun, and sometimes it causes the density to pile up. Because on here, here's Enlil, that's the solar wind speed projection and density projection. So I got it stopped at right about where we are today. The radial velocity they have, well, it was way higher than what it was actually recorded, and it's coming down, but it's still around 500 kilometers per second. Density's coming up just a hair. It's maybe at about 5. So the wind speed is coming up. So that tells me this connection here is getting weaker and the sun connection's getting stronger, even though we're seeing the phi angle showing up above 180. And you got to pull up the Solar Ham tutorial in my description box to fully understand what I'm talking about. Just read all this stuff. The phi angle, the blue thing I'm showing you, if it's 0, it's pointing from the Earth to the sun. If it's 180, it's pointing from the sun to the Earth. There should be nothing above 180. Now here's geospace. This is the same deal. I get the same info as we get from these GOES 13, 14, and 15 satellites. They just represented in a little bit different fashion. They get the Earth and sun side flipped for one thing. But here's the pressure, and you can see things are getting more violent because you see that I showed you that phi angle connection starting to drop off, and it was all scrambled there for several hours. Now it's back up above close to 360, but we're still having a lot of fluctuation going on. You can see the waves coming through on the pressure. You can see it better on the density. And this is what I'm most concerned about, this density from behind the planet, because that's what we get this. We get density, solar wind density. That's what knocks out our power grids when it comes through from the front. So I don't know how our planet's fighting off all this density coming from behind, but somehow it is. You see what I'm talking about with these fluctuations? And here it is on the velocity. See, the velocity's up. It's coming up. So I showed you the solar wind's coming up. It's above 400, and you can see the different waves coming through. And everything's ramping up, and we're having some pretty good disturbances due to this phi angle being all whacked around. So I'm almost out of time. I'll let this play through. It's fixing to go through the high-speed event right now. You can see what it looked like. I'll let this thing run out. And definitely avail yourself of the comments and the description box below my videos. Okay, God bless, peace, and I'm out.